Hey guys, today we are going to be servicing the transmission in this 2007 Chevy Suburban. These are in the Sierras, the Silverados, the Yukons, the Chevy and GM product from 2007 to 2013. The first thing I'm going to do is I got a fluid extractor off of Amazon, MV7201. And it's got a valve on the side that switches up and down for suction and pressure. You can either put in or take out via this machine. Some of them have a pneumatic connection that uses an airline. I just wanted simple, and this is very efficient, and I'll show you right now. Sorry, that was my service advisor coming up to me, giving me my hours for last week. Last week was kind of slow. Last week we didn't have a lot of customers last week with these new tariffs and stuff like that. There's people aren't really buying a lot of used cars and stuff right now. Used cars, new cars, they're keeping the cars that they have. So my department, I kind of slowed down a lot, and I was only able to turn 43.7 hours last week. All right, I got that down the dipstick all the way, and now what I do is I start pumping this, and you see that line filling up with fluid, and the valve is in the down position. I just pumped this, I don't know, about a dozen times, I think. And then I let it run. You can see right there the fluid moving around a little bit. I'll suck out all the fluid that's in the pan. Give it a couple minutes, let it drain again, and then do it again. And then put it up in the air and pull the pan down so I can change the filter. Alright, I'm starting to pull air out of the pan now. I'm going to let it just keep pulling as much as it can out of there. We started down here. So it probably pulled out a good solid 4 quarts so far, which that's about normal. Let it finish pulling everything that it needs to pull, and then we'll get it up in the air and start working on getting the pan down so we can change the filter. The fluid that you want to use is this here. They basically, what they're saying is this fluid here works in both of these applications, GM and Ford. I'm going to throw a little caution in here. When I bought this vehicle, I have a video when I purchased this vehicle from, what did I buy this vehicle, a year ago? Not even a year ago, 10 months ago. When I bought this vehicle, there were some hidden things that I didn't know about this vehicle. Like, first thing was, I was able to talk the guy down from 7,800 to 5,800 extremely easy. The first offer I threw out, he accepted, which should have been a red flag, but to me, I was just excited about getting it, and I went with it. I went and purchased the vehicle. When I purchased the vehicle, the guy asked us not to shut it off while we were doing the test drive and stuff like that, which that was a red flag, but I was so excited again about getting a vehicle that wasn't all rusted out. That I've had to do some body work too. Since there were some rust spots, but underneath was actually pretty solid condition. Most of these from 2007 to 2013 that have come from the north, the rust belt, the frame's all rotted out on them. This one's not rotted out. It's got surface rust, but it's not rotted out. So I was like, okay, rockers are good, running boards are good, the frame's not rotted out. Looks like it's got a newer transmission in it. I don't really know. The torque converter looks brand new. I can tell the wiring harness around the engine was pulled, like somebody put a new engine in this at one time or replaced lifters or something like that at one time. So this engine and transmission has probably been out of this vehicle, and it's had work done. When I ran the Carfax on it after I bought it and got it back to my shop where I was the general manager at the time, again, I should have done my research first, but I didn't. I ran the VIN number on this on the Carfax report, and it came back that it was serviced in Waukegan, Illinois, last year, April of some time, and it had 176,000 miles on it for brakes and an oil change. When I bought the vehicle, one of the reasons I did buy it is because it only had 100,000 miles on it. They swapped the cluster on it, and I didn't know that. Anyway, called the guy out on it, and he was like, basically, what do you want me to fucking do? I'll come get my Suburban back. I don't know. I'm a small dealer. I don't do Carfaxes on everything. I see opportunities, I buy them and I sell them. So, okay, I get it, man. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you and stuff like that. I did get a good vehicle, but I had to put a $500 fuel pump, a Delphi fuel pump in it, so I had to drop the tank, new straps, new hardware, new fuel pump. I had to put a new intake manifold gaskets in it because it was setting a P0171 and P0174 code for lean condition, so I had to pull the intake after I smoked it with a smoke machine and then realized the intake manifold gaskets were leaking. I went to the upgraded Felpro ones that have the metal gasket with the rubber seals that are really thick and robust. Bolted that all down, took care of that problem. Then I started having some kind of issue with the evap system, so then I had to put a vent valve and stuff in it and a purge valve in it. And since then, since I fixed all those things, there's not been a single thing wrong with this. So I want to make sure that it stays that way, because I took something that I could have got screwed on and been in really bad condition, put a couple grand into it, and you know, maybe a dozen hours of my time, maybe a little bit more than a dozen hours, and it's absolutely running phenomenal now with not a single problem. No oil issue problems, no nothing. So transmission fluid was still like a brownish red. You can see all the body work I did. It's not perfect, so don't judge me on that. I didn't want a vehicle that was all rotted out with my wife driving it around. That door's been fixed all across the bottom where it was all rotted out. That whole entire spot was rotted out. That panel back there where the two of them come together, I got new lights. You can see my overspray. It needs to be all, you can see the tape line right there. I got to wet sand and buff that all out, which that's going to happen soon. That dog leg right there needs to be painted a little bit better, but I cut all that out, cut all the metal out and fiberglass and Bondo filled it. Got it all at least looking good. My wife says she doesn't care. She says it looks a hell of a lot better than what it did, and she's fine with it. There was a spot right here that was all rotted out. I ground all that out and Bondo filled it, Olympic white painted it. Here, same thing. I got to wet sand everything, but I did this weekend. I cut this metal out from here up around the fuel tank, back down, painted all that. I redid this dog leg right here. You can see where my overspray's at. I got new running boards coming in for it. So this Suburban has come a long way, and it's exactly what we needed for the family without breaking the bank, and I'm happy with it. It's really all that matters, is actually my wife being happy with it. So now we're going to get it up in the air. Sorry for all the rambling. I needed to give you a little history on this. And yeah, let's see where we're at with the transmission. We'll drop the pan, see how bad it is. To me, it looked like this got a real bad oil pan leak too. I ordered all the parts for that. It'll be here today or tomorrow. But it looks like somebody put a new torque converter in this or a new transmission in this as well. So let's get under here and look. All right, let's get under here and take a peek. This is the transmission. And what threw me off about it was the discoloration between the aluminum. Like, I'm looking at the aluminum over here and it looks like it's been cleaned. It looks like at some point, but I look over here and it's a little bit more dingy and dull. So I'm thinking at some point this transmission has been out of here. It's got a newer torque converter in it. What I don't know. I would assume it has a newer torque converter in it. And you can see all the oil along the oil pan gasket. That I will be replacing this gasket here soon. Cross member's got to come down, and then I'm going to pull. There's something else that's going to have to be addressed. This front axle. Anyway, you unbolt it here, around, unbolt it here, unplug it, unbolt it here, unbolt it there. This whole unit will actually drop down out of your way, and then you can actually pull it out of the vehicle to service the oil pan. Looks like I'm going to be doing a rack and pinion too. This damn thing's going to be brand new by the time I'm done with it. Anyhow, let's get this oil pan out of here. Looks like I don't know if those are 11, 12, 12 or 13 millimeter bolts all the way around, and then should just drop straight down. Yeah. There's that metal seal that goes on the front of it. It comes with a new kit. It's a Duralast kit. There's the part number on this thing. TF351. And there's an oil pan gasket in here, and then there's a new seal in here. What I had to do is I took a long screwdriver and I caught the ridge of it, a broken tip screwdriver. Caught the ridge of it like that, started tapping it, and then it spun sideways and peeled right out of there. So now the new one is right here, and that's what I'll put in. So I ended up using a 17mm socket and kind of lining it up and using a hammer and just tapping that new seal in. Now go ahead and put your filter and stuff back in there and clean your pan out. Get your new one set and put in. Try to get it up in there as far as it'll go while still sitting flat against the bottom of that. Okay, that's all it is right there. Now clean your pan out, get your new gasket and stuff set up, put on there. Alright, now I've got this new rubber gasket around here, and I've got all the bolts started because the rubber holes are so small. You got to start the bolts first, and I'm going to have somebody pull down on the exhaust for me while I get this set inside. Okay, everything's cleaned up, put back together. Took some brake clean, sprayed the hell out of everything down here. So, shifter cable's back on, pan's all cleaned off. Yeah, I mean, it's rusty. The frame is rusty, but it's not rusted through anywhere. Like, you got a little bit of a flake every once in a while here, but the rubber that's on here, that rubber undercoating that GM sprayed, some of it's still here, a lot of it's flaked away. So it's basically opened up and given me room to use fluid film. So I'm going to start fluid filming this frame slowly, little by little. So far, what we can tell about this is at least this was somewhat taken care of. This is a newer filter that was in there. Not new, but it's pretty clean. And the fluid was still really red. So with that being said, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Overall, this thing is pretty clean. After I seal up that oil pan, it won't really have any leaks. The only other thing I'll have to worry about past that oil pan is the exhaust manifold bolts. And I think on this one I have one or two that are broke. Not on this side. No. Seems like this side might be good. The back one might be broke on this side. But over here on this side, this manifold, it's not leaking yet, so I'm not going to screw with it. I'm going to leave it alone because I'm going to put headers on it. I know one of these here. I think one of these here are broke. Yeah, this one right here. After this first runner right here, it's broke. But it's in between two bolts that are clamping down, so it probably won't leak for a while at least. Then I replaced the fittings, the plastic fittings that always crack back here in these elbows. I got a Dorman replacement kit and replaced those. Yeah, AC is ice cold. When I first was working on the front end of this vehicle, trying to smoke the intake manifold, I dropped a little fitting down inside here. And when I was fishing around underneath the radiator support, I screwed up. The fitting went under the support, so I tried to fish it out with a screwdriver. And when I went to go push the screwdriver in to fish it out, I accidentally put a little hole in the AC condenser. So the condenser and everything's all brand new. It's all been replaced, all fresh AC and stuff put in there, R134 put in there. But that's here nor there. Let me get around to putting fluid in the transmission now. So I just got done putting fresh fluid in that, cleaning it out, putting fresh fluid in it, and then I filled it up. I got about, I want to say about 3 quarts in there, and pulled it to check the dipstick, and it's right at the hot mark between cold and hot. So what I want to do now is I want to run it and see if the fluid level drops down, because I may have to pull just a hair out. I ended up putting about 4.5, 5 quarts in here to get it up to the hot level with it running, completely warmed up, and I'm full right now. I'm going to let it run a little bit more, check it, and then that's it for the transmission service. Good news, I've been running the vehicle for a few days now, and the transmission is shifting just absolutely phenomenal. Way better than what it was before. The reason I say that is because whenever you'd start cold and you'd go to take off, it'd have a little bit of a hard shift the first 1-2 gear, and it's just shifting great. It's like 50 some degrees right now, and that 1-2 shift that I was feeling the other day when it was 50 some degrees, that harshness is gone. So that's good. The transmission is fluid level's full. Everything's great. Today I'm going to go in. Hopefully I'm replacing the oil pan today. oil pan gasket today, and the associated gaskets to go along with it. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you like this type of video, if you like seeing me get into these older cars and stuff like that to try to keep them on the road, keep them maintained, give me that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, let me know what you think. Take care.